This conference will now be recorded.
Dude,
You'll see.
Yeah, we got a basketball game. Yeah,
I wouldn't want to see that.
it's a girl.
It'll make sense.
Yeah, we're ready to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Where's Melissa?
I don't think she's coming. Melissa? Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Oh, yeah, she's not. Okay, hi, we gotta get going. You
I
ready?
know.
Here we go. Clerk, please start the recording. Today is Wednesday, December 18th, 2024, and I'd like to call tonight's city council meeting to order. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, can we please have roll call?
Councilmember Fox,
Absent, excused.
Councilmember Kasberg,
Here.
Councilmember Boyle,
Present.
Councilmember Leija,
Here.
Councilmember Cerveny,
Present.
Mayor Strobin.
Here, thank you, clerk. Clerk, can we please call up any public comments from the audience?
Alfilla,
Alphilla, 36016 Northwest Jenny Creek Road. Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now, all the people that said it last week doesn't count because it was too far out. This is when you do that. So, and if you want that change, the citizens' public comment should come a little later like it was back in the day. Okay. Now, hopefully we pass that budget. So next year, hopefully we have coffee when we come to the city council meeting. Before the pandemic, every time we came, they had coffee and water back there. So I think we can cough up some coffee. Okay. All right. So now complaint. Yeah. The sign out at the junction out there that tells the speed. Well, it's been dead for a year, so I think it's time to get it fixed. We all know that, those signs, that's one of the few things that slows people down. And we all know that we want people to slow down. Okay, thank you. God bless America.
Thank you, Al. We're saving our coffee money to fix that sign.
That's the one east of Paradise Park Road, I believe. Just coming into town, like if on the right, if you're going west out of town, coming up the hill just before you get to Paradise Point Park Road or whatever, it's right there, I believe, on the right hand side. You probably don't notice it because it never turns on. Just saying.
We'll
What's that?
discuss it.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it, yeah. Yeah, it definitely has to get fixed. It is, yeah. We'll discuss it, Tracy. Thank you.
Carmen DeLeon,
Hello, if you can hear me, I'm good. I'm Carmen. I'm from the city of Vancouver, and I'm crashing you guys' party because I'm scared to death. They want to outlaw camping. Guess where everybody's going to go? They came from from Portland to Vancouver. If Vancouver outlaws it, welcome your new neighborhood, of the meth corner. And they're not really broadcasting that. They have silenced, muted public opinion because too many people were just complaining. So they don't put it on Facebook. You can look at the public comments and say, public comments now, turn it off, CCTV, and you can complain all you want and nobody's going to hear it. So go ahead and, outlaw camping in Vancouver. Who cares about Los Center, Ridgefield? Not their problem. Your guys' new problem. And just because he reminded me 1 year of a broken 6th floor elevator in the city of Vancouver, and you know that all the felonies go to the city of Vancouver. So everybody's running around late, not me, but I've seen them over a year and they haven't fixed that, man. That's pretty sad. But, oh yeah, and I was just going to mention, they passed the 3% tax of anything you buy with your credit card. So when you're in Vancouver and you say gas, okay, credit card. Oh, groceries, credit card. You see what I'm saying? So by the end of the day, that's not 3%. It could be 15, 20% because you just spent that. So I think that's a good way of keeping people out of Vancouver shopping. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know if you guys passed it out here, but I know Vancouver raised it, and that can be, I'm not going to shop in this city anymore. And then the last thing, I do have enough time. From my understanding, and this was my favorite thing, man, I didn't care parking at the end of Clark County Fair because there was a hayride. And you can get on that hayride and go all through the parking lot and be put at the gate, if anybody remembers it. I mean, 200,000 people a year. And I mean, most of Clark County goes to the fairgrounds. So much money that there is $80 million account occurring interest somewhere, and they say there's a shortfall. Don't tell me there's a shortfall when you got $80 million in the bank getting interest. Where's that going? They just approved, and that's the sad thing. They want to pave the whole parking lot, man. And that was the hayride. How do you have a hayride on concrete? But hey, they've got $80 million to burn. And as you can see, where do they need the investment, really? What do they need? What do they need? If they need something and you get enough people who love Clark County Fair, they're going to come volunteer to do the work. You need a new whatever building, we've got recyclable wood, etc. I'm just saying they have money extra that they're not telling you about. And then I wondered how many other accounts are sitting there accruing interest that they're saying there's a shortfall. I don't know. I'm not a professional. I'm a lay person, and I thank you for your time. I don't want to abuse it. God bless.
Thank you.
Wayne Gersich,
My name is Wayne Gersich, and I live in Salmon Creek in Clark County, but I go to the health board meetings. And you all were told to take COVID shots, weren't you? And you know that they kill people, right? And what's very interesting, it's only once a month, but in the last couple meetings, because I was complaining about this and I wanted a memorial for the people who got killed from the shots going down the hallway, for the people who coerced them to do this, what they said is Melnick is the health official. He lives in Portland, in a city that had, they okayed you to use fentanyl and stuff. Now, why would you hire somebody that's a health official in a city that does drugs, right? But anyway, he got $1 million to study racism in healthcare. Now, Clark County is $11 million in debt, and you want to get rid of $1 million debt? Why did he get $1 million to study racism in healthcare and he hasn't come up with a thing? And I send him all kinds of stuff. If you look on public record, I'm constantly sending things to the city clerk because they can't claim they don't know. But one of the things too is that when these COVID shots came out, this says members of Congress and their aides in federal courts are exempt from vaccine mandates. And this was written September 12th, 2021. And then Medvigi was saying in the last 3 health board meetings, you can check it out, that there was no mandates in Clark County. So what did we go through? Is this the Twilight Zone or what? And the thing that's really sickening about it is that these shots, they have graphene, they have parasites in it, they have hydrogel. There's a lot of bad stuff in there. And the odd thing is that we were lied to about everything. And there's no virus. That's the worst part about it. Because I studied this and I put everything on public record. And if you want to check it out, look at Clark County Health Board and ask Rebecca Messenger. She has all the things. But what I'm really concerned about is that we're now drinking toilet. This city claims they're not, which is good. But toilet to tap everywhere. And under these smart cities that are usually built around the wastewater treatment plants, that you're not only drinking someone else's medicine, you're drinking their disease. So anybody that goes to the bathroom, their poop and pee is in there. And you just drank their COVID shot. So this is coming through the tap in many places where they're recycling the water. And I was just listening to Jonathan Otto, which I hope you all check out because he's got a program going on right now that's telling how to detox from this because this is a bioweapon and you can't get it out. In the Bay Area, Zuckerberg actually put a chip in the sewer lines to see if the virus is mutating and stuff. So this is about chloramine. I was at the UN convention. I was at the EPA the day they had the UN convention at Moscone Center.
Please
and when
wrap it
Parker
up. Your
went
time is
there.
up. Please
Okay,
wrap
I'm
up.
sorry, but all this stuff is going to be on public record.
Yes.
And this too is about climate change. And I'm putting all this on public record. This is the brain damage studies. This is why we got to get fluoride stopped.
Thank you.
Kimberly Elbin.
Mhm. I do know.
Good evening, Kimberly Goheen-Elbin, life citizen of Clark County, Washington. I've lived here for over 30 years, where my mother was born. I like to add a little joke that I probably was conceived here too. So I'd like to remind this council, and especially the citizens that I actually speak to, that all of Clark County and these council meetings are to conduct the people's business. This council and all council meetings are of the people, for the people, and by the people. So when people say, we need to get going on this, we can't speak longer, I would have loved to had Wynn Gersich speak about 5 more minutes, considering it's one of those polluted things that we're in big trouble, our earth. And the people can stop, actually, growth here in our little town. We cannot have people move here to a country setting and then make it a city. The people can stop this because of the people, for the people, and by the people. We will win that one, I'm sure, as Vancouver wants to be the 2nd largest city in the state of Washington. Portland, Vancouver, Seattle, Olympia, they're the United Nations members that are underlining our Constitution, and we're not going to go along with it anymore. We now have President Trump going to support us for 4 more years. I'm happy about that. Last week I mentioned that this council wants to put a roundabout on a steep downslope that's a 50-mile, I'm thankful for that. It's going to hurt our brakes on our cars, already mine do just coming down anyway. But it's absolutely not any common sense to have a cul-de-sac up there just out of town here across the bridge at Timmins there when people are coming down a steep grade. I mean, I think about even the winter days, and we can have 2 weeks of hard winter. It ain't going to happen. You cannot possibly assume that there's not going to be an accident, even if people go 25 miles an hour down there. Something's going to happen. And it's the bottom line. Why are we going to do that? Well, because they want to develop up there on Timmins Landing where the eagles fly. We're not going to have that. I'm actually contacting any bird groups that I can to help support those eagles. The Clark County Courthouse, Law and Justice, and the public defenders there are not able to do their job because they haven't received all the millions of hard-earned tax dollars this last 4 years. It was actually used, again, for big government. Now we have to pass levies for those that actually put their lives on the line, police, EMTs, the fire department people. Those are people that actually are doing the work. They should resent and stand up as citizens to state that the government became big, all of their officials above them.
Please
We
wrap
want
up.
food
Kimberly,
on their
your time is
table,
up.
and God bless America, but do go to all of the meetings. The comprehension plan's coming up. Study it up.
Thank you.
There's no more cards that were given from the audience.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. Any public comments from those calling in, please press *6 to unmute yourself. State your name and address for the record. No callers. Are there any public comments to be read?
There were no comments to be read.
Can I just say something? Can you give the mayor of Vancouver lessons? Because she doesn't know what she's doing and she can do some lessons.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. That brings up the consent agenda. If there are no requests for any items to be removed, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Thank you, council. We do have a presentation tonight. We have the Roundabout project design at La Center Road in Paradise Park. This will be presented by Mr. Tony Cooper. Tony?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. So the staff report you have before you is to authorize a PSA for design of a roundabout at La Center Road and Paradise Park Road. So I just want to go back into where this came from. In 2015, 2016, when
Tony, can you pull the mic up?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. When the casino was being proposed and the roundabouts were being built up there, the city, an intergovernmental agreement was signed by the tribe and the city, and in that there was an agreement to fund a traffic signal at that intersection. And the thought was that all the traffic created by this new casino is going to impact that intersection as well as future development. So that was back in 2016 when that was signed. So in around 2020, discussion with WashDOT occurred, and they would not support a traffic signal because it could impact the ramps on I-5. So in 2020, DKS was hired to do an analysis of that intersection and to look at a traffic signal and a roundabout. And what they found out is that really a roundabout is the best option because of that reason, because there's less queuing that happens, backup that could happen at that intersection and along the ramps. So they looked at the level service in 2040, and they found that it could that intersection could, some of the movements could be around level of service F, which is at a point where it's an impact to traffic along there. So and I-5. So then fast forward to 2023, when a new intergovernmental agreement was being negotiated with the tribe. Sorry. Okay. So in 2024 and 2023, a new agreement was signed with the Cowlitz tribe and the city. And in that, it allowed for design of a roundabout and to fund that with that agreement by the tribe. So as part of that, what it proposed is that it would fund up to $650,000 for the design of the roundabout, and it would be reimbursed at 50% cost reimbursement when there was 90% of the design completed, and then the rest of the funding would be reimbursed after the roundabout was constructed. So the city, following that, the city advertised an RFQ in the Columbian and the Seattle Daily Journal. And there were 4 proposals that were received, and the most qualified is HHPR, and they were negotiations were started with the firm in the city. And so the firm HHPR submitted a proposal, and the cost of the design is just over $545,659. And so in that proposal, they proposed that they could finish 90% of the design in November, which means that the city could get reimbursed for 50% of that cost. And so the cost of half of that is $272,829, just over that. So that's the PSA. That's what's proposed. And so the staff is requesting that the council authorize that PSA. And so if $545,000, $659.86. And I just want to say that once we know what the cost is, then we can start pursuing construction funding. And there's a lot of construction funding that could be pursued. One of the things that we did, Tracy and I met with the Cowlitz tribe Public Works Department about, I think, 4 to 6 weeks ago, and to talk about their plan for, they have a local plan that they do, and they were asking about the projects in La Center, and this roundabout came up. So they were, this as well as other roads, other projects along La Center Road, but it came up, and so they're going to try to include it on their plan. So it's possible that we could get funding, through the Cowlitz tribe in the future, and we'll pursue other funding too once we know the cost. So are there any questions about
Tony,
it?
what
Yes.
can you tell us about HHPR?
What can I tell you about them? About what they've done before?
Who's the company?
HHPR, they're out of Vancouver. They've done quite a bit of work in the city. They actually designed the roundabout at 4th Street and Pacific Highway. They designed that one. They're actually designing the shared use path too. So they've done a lot of projects, and they've done subdivision design in the city. So they're very familiar with.
I just wasn't recognizing the HHR.
HHPR, yes, it's acronym for some long names.
I remember their long name.
Yeah.
Too many acronyms. Well, I have a question too,
Yes.
because my understanding, and I did read that whole packet, because I'm trying to get a whole picture, that the roundabout isn't going to be in the middle of the road as you're coming down the center road. It's going to be, isn't it going to be off as you turn into Timmins?
No, that's a different roundabout.
Oh, okay.
That's a different roundabout. That's for I think the planned action area or the Timmins Landing,
Okay, so then what's the one that specifically that we're talking about here?
This is at Paradise Park Road and La Center Road. It's
by the Shell station.
It's by the Shell station.
Oh,
that
okay,
intersection
okay.
right there. Yeah.
All right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, completely different roundabout. But the one at Timmins Road and La Center Road, that is also as being updated. Our CFP is actually being updated, and that's going to be on the plan as well as the one up at Paradise Park Road.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted to make sure which one that was. Okay, cool.
Just because I don't know, are these design costs typical to reach this dollar amount?
Yes.
Or, I mean,
a
single project like this. I mean, I don't see it as it's a big project, but it's not like
What is the overall cost estimate of a roundabout nowadays? Isn't it like $3 million? Something
Construction costs, it's
Yeah.
a good 3 million. I
Right.
mean, it's gone up since the roundabout at 4th Street in Pacific High was built. That was probably close to 2 million. And that was 2017, 18. So it's gone up significantly since construction costs have gone up.
And if I'm reading this right, it looks like we budgeted 580,000 for this.
Yeah, I'll interject. So a couple things. So the roundabout's going to be, I would say, a solid 5 million, to say the least. Typical 20% is engineering costs you do for a design. The other thing that Tony mentioned that I wanted to make sure just reiterate is that we did meet with the tribe, and we're going to put our road, which is part of this project, on their tip. And so what that does is it allows us to go for funding with the tribe for joint funding opportunities for grants. So we can look for some construction costs, which Tony mentioned. Anything within 15 miles of the tribe we'll be able to go for funding for. And then also let's see what, well, there was something else too. Oh, HHPR. I've worked with HHPR for the past 8 years, and they're an amazing engineering firm. I have nothing but good reviews for them, and they have always come in under budget. So just wanted to share those things as well.
The funding, it opens up opportunities doing this with the tribe that we wouldn't normally be able to do. So is there any more questions for Tony?
And this has already been all negotiated with the tribe that they'd be
Yes.
for part. Yeah,
This was
okay.
part of the IGA that we signed back in April.
Oh, okay.
of this
All
year.
right, cool.
One more item, council. I had included this in the budget, just so you know.
I remember hearing about it. I just didn't remember what the numbers were, but I was able to go back and look. So thank you for that.
Mayor, I move to authorize approval of the design contract with HHPR Incorporated not to exceed $545,659.86.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Thank you, council. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
And thanks, Tracy. All right. Next up is the mayor's report. I'll keep it short. As you can tell, I've got a cold, so this way I'm not coughing into the mic for you guys. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a very safe and happy New Year. Our offices will be closed Wednesday, January 1st, and Wednesday, Christmas Day. It is Wednesday, right, this year? Each
Yeah.
one of them? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
You were going to share about that.
No, I'm going to let Tracy actually talk about that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, she needs to talk about that. The award.
Am I talking about that right now?
You can if you'd like. I'm all right with it.
Oh, okay. So we as a city were elected by the state troopers for our, did you see the award up? The award's right up there. But anyway, it's for our work, our due diligence as a municipality. I'm going to put a lot of this on Tony because he went out for a lot of the grants, but for bringing in the $15 million worth of grants that actually improve our roadways and our bike and pedestrian paths for safety and the safety curve that we brought in that too. So we were nominated and we were awarded as a city and recognized for putting the good effort towards the state roads to limit the amount of accidents and deaths in our area.
And I want to thank you and the mayor and what work was done on that, because the award was given at Night of 1,000 Stars.
Correct.
And for the audience, this is a really big deal. And I've attended that program other years. I just didn't find out about this one, or I would have been there, because it is a very big deal. And I just thank you.
Yeah, it was a very special evening, and I do want to thank Tony and Tracy for it. It was definitely eye-opening, but it was attending an awards banquet in a library, they don't cheer or
A church.
yeah, like a church. Yeah, it was a library to me. It was everybody so
Oh, you
quiet.
mean, yeah, but it was at the
They,
church.
they clapped and then people come up and get awards. Nobody said boo or nothing. It was very strange to me for an award show,
Yeah,
but it was something special.
yeah, and
It
it
really
is
was.
done by the Washington State Patrol, and so,
Yeah, and they nominated us. So
yes.
the only thing I did is did the write-up based on all the work that had already been done in La Center. And again, I give a lot of kudos to Tony because he did a lot of that work, as did the mayor for bringing grants in. And all I did was pull it together and give it to them. And then they said, oh, yeah, you qualify. So there we go.
That's teamwork.
Yeah,
Tracy. So
exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
I'd also like to thank city staff and council for a tremendous 2024. We've accomplished so much this year. We are passing ordinances and taking care of city business that's been long needed. So my hat's off to each and every one of you, and I wish you and your families Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. Thank you. Next up, that'd be the attorney's report. Janine, are you with us?
I am, but I don't have anything to report this evening. All is going well. Just wish you all a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year.
Perfect. Any questions for the city attorney? All right. Thank you, Janine. Merry Christmas. Next up, council member comments. Councilmember Kasberg.
Thanks. It's good to see everybody tonight. You know, that Night of the 1,000 Stars event and the Target Zero campaign, the Washington State Traffic Safety Grants really is a big deal. There's a lot of money available through that program. And the fact that the city was recognized, I think, opens up some opportunities for us to benefit from that. They'll pay for things like radar units, and you might have seen in the newspaper that the city of Vancouver has a phlebotomy program so they can do their own blood draws for DUIs. But to tell you the truth, the sheriff's office has had that for about 6 years. So I think I was the traffic commander about 6 years ago when we started doing that. So that's right. You gotta. So anyway, that could potentially help the city out quite a bit. Phlebotomy when you're taking.
Clerk, can we
blood?
mute him, please?
Anyway,
You don't
Merry
understand
Christmas.
Unless you've been in law
And-
enforcement, right, Casey?
That's right. Merry Christmas. It's good to see everybody. Be safe this holiday. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Boyle.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I guess it has been a great 2024. Like Tom said, we accomplished a lot. It's been a great group as far as everybody's staff, you know, the council, community members. We've all come together in lots of different ways to accomplish a lot of different things. I think, you know, between our days and our Christmas celebration and, I mean, just coming together for simple community events. It's great to see everybody and makes our town special. Yeah. But, man, I lost my train of thought now. There's
a lot of people wearing ties, bow ties, and you guys were in sweatshirts.
Where were you?
I can't. I'll tell you later where I was, but
all right.
I was at work.
In other news, I'll try and continue a little bit. I did get to have a chance to volunteer with the Chamander over there at Santa's Posse here last week, putting together Christmas presents and gift bags and food for families that can't always provide. So that was kind of a cool deal.
1,500 families.
1,500? Yeah.
1,500.
Yeah, it's such a cool event. If you ever get a chance to, or you want to volunteer during this time of year, there's Santa's Posse does an awesome job. It's probably one of the coolest volunteering opportunities you can do. One of them.
Yeah, okay.
I said one of them. I enjoy very much, at least. So I'm probably a little biased, but it was fun. It was a fun event. Yeah, and other than that, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope everybody has a safe holiday season.
Thank you. Councilmember Leija.
Good evening. Good to see everyone here. And I've helped when I worked at the sheriff's office. I did help with the sentence policy, and it's very rewarding. And last Saturday, I was a bell ringer for Salvation Army. And I thought that was fun. I was amazed that, a lot of people, I was singing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas," and I won't finish it because I'm not a very good singer. And we had people putting in 10, 20, and guy put in 100. And it was very heartwarming to see, people, except Fred Myers. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I want to reiterate again how important this Night of 1,000 Stars is, and that we, City of the Center, got recognized, and the help that will be the repercussions, the positive repercussions of that. And so that's very, very exciting to me. And I'm just really looking forward to Christmas, having lots of out-of-state company coming to visit me all next week. And I hope everyone here has a really blessed and happy Christmas and safe New Year's.
Thank you. Councilmember Cerveny.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to take a moment to express how proud I am of all of our city staff and what they accomplish and what they bring to this city. They are the ones that do the really hard work and bring the dollars to the community in many, many ways. Not only the road projects, but Tony, you put in an amazing amount of hard work on all of the projects that you submit, and you have done so for years. And that takes an inordinate amount of knowledge and expertise, and I respect you and Tracy and all of our staff in that department, as well as our finance department. And each group that we have right now is just outstanding. And I just wanted to express that and wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year ahead. And I would like to take a moment to express my heartwarming appreciation to each of you that come to our meetings and the community members. All of you volunteer in many, many ways, and I thank you for those efforts and going unrecognized for the hours that you invest in this community and making it what it is. So thank you very much, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. All right, we do have a couple of staff reports tonight. First up is the police staff report. Commander Sample will be presenting. Commander.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you. So starting off tonight, we're going to talk about our calls for service here for November of 2024. We had 71 deputy initiated calls and 128 by the community, as opposed to in 23, our numbers have went way up here. It's kind of just a comparison to show that we are out there and being active. If we can go to the next slide here. The type of reports we've had here. So over these reports, we've had 27 for the month of November 2024. Some of our highlighted ones were malicious mischief. We had 5 of those. 4 theft reports, a missing person returned, 3 violation of no contact orders, 1 towed vehicle, 1 DV info report. And we also had, everyone noticed around the Thanksgiving time, we had a big call out where a lot of the members from the sheriff's office came up here for an assault with a knife call, which ended up being assault 2 call right there. It's still in the works of investigations right now. So the person was taken into custody. And so they're still working on that one. And as opposed to November of 2023, there were only 10 reports at the time. Our traffic report here. This is from our sector that we get from the Washington State Patrol, which is an electronic device that you put in, all the figures go off in there. If we look at, there were 11 citations written for infractions, for traffic infractions. We had 7 criminal infractions written and also 3 non-criminal citations written. Overall, so with the citations being 11 for the infractions, I said citations and infractions being 11, there were actually 28 warnings given. And so we were out there we're doing it pretty well. We're hitting it pretty hard. And the big thing is that it's about educating the public. And if we can educate the public just through the stop, that's where the warning comes in. But if we don't seem to be able to educate you, that's where the infraction comes in to kind of make it sink home just a little bit more to you. Next slide, please. December 8th, the center tree, Christmas tree lighting. This picture was taken for us. Alex, any way to blow that up a little bit more? Make it, oh, no, just the actual picture itself. That is one of the most beautiful pictures right there I think I've seen in a long time with the fog out there. Look at that, the highway. That was a great event. And Mr. Mayor, if we may have 1 minute, we'd like to show something off for you.
Uh-oh, please. Yeah. As long as we're not posting any more pictures of me up there, I'm good.
Well, after commercial break, we'll be right back to what we were going to show for 1 minute. Stay tuned, please. Is it on right? There we go.
Oh, yes.
That was probably one of the better 5-minute fireworks shows I've ever seen. It was beautiful.
It was probably one of the best $5,000 I've ever spent.
And thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. Yes. Good. Okay, and we'll move along here. Since we're talking about the Christmas tree lighting, there are some safety tips also we should be considering here for Christmas. If you're going to have not an artificial tree, but an actual live tree that was cut down, a natural tree, please make sure to keep it watered and fresh. Trees can dry up real quick and turn to kindling in no time at all. If you've ever seen a tree go up, it's not good. When they go up, they go up hard and fast. Be mindful about how you're using your electrical outlets. If you're using extension cords or adapters that have receptacles, consider having a qualified electrician or more outlets in your home. I know that's expensive and that's kind of a big way to go, but just be mindful about your outlets. Space heaters, turn them off. Don't set them near the trees. Once trees go up, very hard to put out. Blankets, curtains, anything combustible. Never use candles to decorate your tree. I've seen some people try that before. And always turn off your Christmas tree lights before leaving home or going to bed. And going back to Councilmember Sean Boyle, we were both at the Santa's Posse. It was very good we'll hold off on that one right now. You're going for my grand finale. It was very good to see you there helping out with it. I want to say Santa's Posse, we did 1,500 families. We also served 6 families here in the center within the city. So that Saturday they came up. We came up and delivered food and toys and other things like that to make sure those families that are in need will have something for Christmas for the children and also have a good meal to have. Last thing to keep in mind here, we're getting so close to Christmas that you want to be very mindful about your deliveries and your packages. This is the perfect time for porch pirates to come around because they know it's going to be something that's a gift. This isn't like July or June. So right around this time frame, if you're not going to be at home, maybe ask a neighbor to check your porch for you or have it delivered to a locker. There's lockers all around town that you can deliver your packages to. That way you can ensure you have them for Christmas. And the last final slide right here. Ending off, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. And we've had a fantastic time here. Santa up there was taking pictures with all the kids and everyone loved it. So the center, you outdid yourself this time around. Very impressed. Thank you so much for letting me participate with that and being a part of the community.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. It's Councilor Kasberg and I were just commenting. The numbers are alarming, right? That you see the arrest and citations and pullovers, but it shows the importance of why we needed you guys here in the city. So thank you again. Any questions for the commander? No questions? All right. Thank you. Next up is the Administrative Services Staff Report. Ms. Maria Swingerinsky will be presenting. Maria?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I have my December staff report. So we have almost exceeded last year's sales tax revenue with still 1 month to go. So we will blow our prediction out of the water. Please keep spending in December. Next up, I know last week the mayor thanked everybody who participated and made the Christmas festivities happen, but I just wanted to put it in writing, the people and the businesses who contributed towards it, so you can look back and please make sure to support these businesses throughout the year. And then next up, we have had our strongest November since 2017 for our gambling tax revenue, and we will also exceed our expectations that we had budgeted for this year. And then lastly, staff continues to get a number of public records requests. And so we put into it just a little chart so you can see how many we've received in the last 5 years, as far in addition to the response time and how many we respond to on the day that they come in, et cetera. So thanks to staff, and it's not just my department, every department gets them. And so we appreciate we appreciate the records request and being transparent, and appreciate our staff that can respond to them in a quick manner. So that's all I have tonight. If there are any questions.
Any questions? Oh, thank you,
Thanks.
Maria. Great report. Thank you. So we do have an ordinance tonight, Ordinance 2024-18, LCMC 8.30, outdoor burning. Ms. Tracy Coleman will be presenting. Tracy?
Yeah, this is a pretty basic ordinance. The purpose of the ordinance is for updating our La Center Municipal Code 8.30. Basically, it was written back in May of 1993. And what we're doing is we're updating our code to be reflective of what we're mandated to do, which is follow the Southwest Clean Air Agency Act. We basically have a statutory authority. Restart speaking again here. What the heck? Anyway, authority per RCW 70A152540 to establish regulations where Southwest Clean Air Agency regulates who's allowed to burn and who's not allowed to burn in city limits, and we're part of their jurisdiction. So with that being said, there's no burning allowed in the city limits. And when we're talking about burning, I'm not talking about a recreational fire pit. They have that on the Southwest Clean Air Agency website, that you're allowed to have a 3x3x2, so like a 3-foot diameter circle, recreational fire pit in your backyard. You don't need a permit for that. It can be up to 2 feet deep, but you can't burn any yard debris or anything in that. You're only allowed to burn seasoned firewood, just so everybody's aware of that. We have posted this information on our website. Outside the city limits, anybody who's outside our city limits in our urban growth area, so on and so forth, they can burn slash piles of 10 feet by 10 feet by 6 feet, but they have to file a permit with the Southwest Clean Air Act. So for instance, when we had that special event for the school, when they wouldn't have the bonfire, they would still be able to have that bonfire if they filed a special permit, and then we work with Clark County and with the city. So we're still involved in working with them, but we just don't issue the permits. And so that's why we're updating our municipal code.
Thank you, Tracy. Council, any questions for Tracy?
Tracy, are we going to be putting this information in our newsletter?
We absolutely can, but it is posted on our website. We did have it posted on the website.
I just think more citizens probably would read the newsletter
Sure.
versus the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, good recommendation.
Please note, Council, I did question why we were bringing this up to the city. I sometimes have a hard time when government starts overstepping into what you can do in your own yard. And I was firmly told that we have no choice in this matter. We actually have to look this over. So No matter what my thoughts were, it was coming to you.
Well, I think there's a big difference between having a little campfire in your backyard and burning garbage. So I think as long as we make sure people know that we can still have a fire to cook a hot dog on or whatever.
Yep. And that's why I wanted to bring that up.
All right. Any questions? Comments? Discussion?
me too.
All right. So this is an ordinance. At 7:18, I'd like to open this up to public comment. If there are any public comments, please step up to the microphone and stay to the ordinance at hand. I appreciate it.
Alphila, 36016 Northwest Jenny Creek Road. I am going to give out a shout out to the Salvation Army. If you go buy a kettle, you know, drop some money in there. Of course, y'all know that I drink well, so Councilwoman Leija reminded me of that. But, you know, you talk about overreach. You know, an ordinance, you can't burn in the backyard. You know, you got some yard debris and stuff like that. Back in the day, 1993, well, that was even before I got annexed in the city, kicking and screaming. You know, you can burn anything. Well, no garbage or anything, but, you know, any yard debris or anything. Or now, you should be able to do it, you know, as long as you're doing it safely. Thank you. God bless America.
Thank you, Al. Any other public comments? Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Wynn Gersich, and the policeman, when he was talking about delivering packages, I got one today, and apparently these people that deliver it never ring the doorbell. So that thing was sitting outside for I don't know how long. I opened it up and there it was. And my sister, who is deaf and has a cochlear implant, you know, if they had flashing lights, they don't, all these people to deliver packages never ring your doorbell. There should be a city ordinance that they ring the doorbell so that you know it was dropped off. And I'm just flabbergasted that, you know, why don't they ring the doorbell? What's it take to, you know, push the doorbell, one ring, and I'd be there to pick it up. But it just really bothered me because everything that's been delivered to my house, there's no bell ringing. And my sister says the same thing. And one other thing too is that with the trees, people probably should have a fire extinguisher by their trees, because that would be, you know, or some kind of blanket that you could wrap it up in, because we're getting all this garbage from China and it catches on fire real easy. And a lot of people have these lithium battery things where these animals and stuff move, and those things, they burst in flames. There's a lot of things that can catch on fire. And I honestly think that it would be very important that if you had, especially if you got a tree that dries out really quick, have a fire extinguisher near your tree. That should be something on your list of things to do. But that's all I wanted to say. But another thing too, because I've been sitting there, when you speak into a mic, you have to talk into the mic because your breath makes the mic work. We couldn't hear any of you. And when you move your head and it's going like this, you can't hear the person talking because it's not going to the mic. These two ladies, we heard perfectly. But the rest of you, you're sitting back there, you couldn't hear anything, could you?
Very little.
See? So please, be respectful to people that want to come and hear you, because when you talk into the mic, your breath actually makes it work. So you have to be close and you have to talk. You can't whisper because I'm talking like this. Can you hear me? You know, it doesn't work like that. And we do want to hear what you have to say. That's what's really important. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Wynn.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I make one comment back to this?
Is it pertaining to the ordinance?
No, I'll do it afterwards then.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Any callers calling in, please press *6 to unmute yourself to speak. State your name and address for the record. Please stay to the topic of the ordinance. No callers? Oh. Any public comments to be read?
There are no public comments to be read for this ordinance.
So we've got Skip.
Skip Carlson, 35915 Northwest Cheney Creek Road. I perused the ordinance that thing. How does this address when, it's probably more for Tracy than anyone else. How does this address when there's clearing and grubbing going on and there'll be burn piles? How does this ordinance, because reasonable people can't haul off everything from clearing land. So it's more of a question than a comment. Thank
Tracy,
you. And the term is eat the mic. Works real well. Eat the mic.
I actually don't even think I need a microphone, but anyway, Skip knows me too well. But anyway, basically there are, if you go through, so what they're saying is, if you have a special circumstance, you can go to SWCA and you have an application that they will fill out and they will consider it. But what we're saying is that we as a city, this ordinance is we as a city don't regulate that. We have to go per RCW, what the Southwest Clean Air Act says. So what we're saying, basically our ordinance is saying, we're going to follow what they say because we can't override them per RCW. And if you have something that you want to burn, you have to go to them to get a special permit. Otherwise, you have to stick to your 3x3 fire pit in the backyard. Or if you're outside, again, outside the city limits, you're not within the city limits and you're within our urban growth area, you can have a slash pile, which is a 10 foot by 10 foot by 6 foot. Other than that, you have to do a special permit through SWCA.
And Tracy, just correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that the fine for not following the directions is something, a very steep one of like $10,000 or $15,000.
That I do not have the answer to off the top of my head, but I could look it up.
Yeah, that was after a conversation with the fire marshal.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, at 7:25 p.m. Actually, is there any more public comments? All right, at 7:25 p.m., I'd like to close the public comments period and turn this back over to council. Council, do you have any discussions, comments, questions that you'd like to discuss?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-18 by amending chapter 8.30 outdoor burning.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is an ordinance. Can I please have a roll call vote, clerk?
Councilmember Fox,
Absent excused. Sorry, clerk.
Councilmember Kasberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Boyle,
No.
Councilmember Leija,
Yes.
Councilmember Cerveny.
Yes.
Ordinance passes. Thank you, council. All right, council, is there any unfinished business? No unfinished business? How about any new business? Okay, can I get a motion? Oh, I'm so sorry.
I would just like to shout out to our city attorney. With all the ordinances and the resolutions and our contracts that we've been putting through this year, she has done an outstanding job in the turnaround time to make us be able to do our job easier. So I don't know if she's still online, but I just want to say that every time I've gone to her, she's gotten it back to me way sooner than I've needed it, which allows our job to go much smoother, and we are able to get these turned around very quickly. So I wanted to say thank you to Janine, our city attorney. She's doing an outstanding job from our department's point of view, for sure.
Perfectly well said, Tracy. She has done an outstanding job. She really has. She's responded and answers calls right when you ring her. So yes, well said. Is that it? Yeah, Phil, did you want something? Did you want to address something real quick, or you sure? All right, thanks, Commander. Can I get a motion to close the meeting, please?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Thank you, council. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Okay. Right now, I haven't had Dave Shook yet, but.
Oh, January 9th.
January
I'm
9th.
game.
These are